Do you ever feel so far away from your purpose that it keeps you up at night wondering if you're going in the right direction? I got the biggest revelation about my purpose the other night, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Welcome to Notes from Your Bestie. You are now in a bestie environment. We're gonna have real life conversations, be authentic, and not be ashamed of the things that we go through every day. We're gonna talk about them. One night I was wrestling, okay, and I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. And I was twisting, turning in bed, and basically I was very anxious about where I was going. I was wondering if I was going in the right direction because things were just very hard. Like working towards my purpose and what I was doing in life just got very hard. And so I was wondering all these things, and I was like, am I doing the right thing? Because, you know, it doesn't seem like I'm going in the right direction. And eventually I heard a voice, my intuition, and it basically said, you know what, like, look at the Bible so that way your mind can shift. So I was like, okay. I landed on the book of Samuel. So this was in Samuel 1:4, and you can check out the story. But the gist of the story is there was the chest of God, and it basically landed in the wrong hands when it was supposed to be with God's people. The chest of God was just like a precious item to God's people. So we have to take note of this. The chest of God was meant to be protected and kept safe with God's people. It ended up being in the wrong hands. It was not meant for them. There was a point that the people who stole the chest of God, where it didn't belong to them, was extremely excited about finally getting the chest of God. You ever had a time where you looked at someone else and you wish you had what that person had? Come on now, raise your hand. Hey, 2 hands. So then you tried to be like them, and then you quickly figured out it don't work because their skills and talents is meant for them. I want you to keep this in mind. So now we're going to nickname chest of God as purpose. So basically the chest of God represents purpose. The story goes on that they quickly figured out that the longer they kept the chest of God, aka purpose, in their possession, they realized that eventually they were going to be killed because of all the hardship and everything that God was throwing at them until they sent it back to the right people who were meant to have it. And this is where everything made sense that night. Purpose is something that no matter how far you run from it or how far you feel that you are away from your purpose, that you're doing the actual thing that you're doing. So example would be that you know that you're supposed to be doing, I don't know, having a business, but instead you're working a 9-to-5 job that's driving you crazy. Nothing or no one can take you away from your purpose or your mission. No matter how far you feel away from it, it will always make its way back to you. That's just how it works. You're exactly where you need to be. And as long as you stick with the assignment, eventually everything just comes into place. So how the story finally ends is the chest of God, aka purpose, finally makes its way back to where it's supposed to be. Remember this, remember that, what I just said. And the part of the story that was an aha moment where I was like, oh my goodness, I need to share this with other people because it helped me so much. Like instantly my anxiety went down because I understood this part. The chest of God, aka purpose, that was meant for the right people, right? It was meant for the Israelites. I noticed that they didn't have to fight for it. They didn't have to go there and demand it and be like, give me back the chest of God. Like, they didn't have to do anything like that. I just took care of it. And basically what ended up happening is the people who weren't supposed to have the chest of God, aka purpose, just magically made up their mind and said, you know what, we're going to give it back. The people who were meant to have the chest of God, aka purpose, didn't even have to worry about it. They didn't even have to think twice about it. And that's where it got deep for me because it made me realize that I don't have to worry about my purpose. I don't have to worry how far I am from my purpose. I don't have to worry about how many kilometers I am away from my purpose. Because the matter of fact is that if you have a purpose, and everyone does, is that the purpose will always make your way back to you, whether it keeps on coming up in your mind. It'll keep on coming up even if you're 50, 60 years old. It'll keep on coming up on your mind until you do it. God will orchestrate things, okay? He will organize and put things step by step to ensure that you walk into your purpose where you're meant to be. But here's the kicker. It still requires you to take action. It's not enough to tell yourself, I need to wait for the right time. I need to wait till I have more money. I have bills to pay. Because you know what the truth is that those things will always be there. It will never go away. Like, it's something that's always constant. So it comes to a point where you just have to take the action wherever you are. And don't wait for resources. Take the action that you need to take, that you can do right now. You're not going to know the full picture until you do it and take one step at a time. And what I found is that the more action you take by faith, where you're like, okay, I'm just going to believe in myself, the more ideas you start to get, the more you start to navigate, right, with the challenges or the steps that you're taking, the more you start to take the steps to get to your destination. But when you're not doing anything, you're not going to get any ideas beyond having to take the first step. You're not going to get to step 5 until you take step 1. So I just want to share this with you, is that if you absolutely know that you're in a place right now where you know that you're not doing what you truly desire, you know that you're not doing what your purpose is, that's okay. Know that you're not alone and your purpose can't be kept from you. And everything that you're doing right now, you're exactly where you need to be. And everything that you're doing right now is for your greater purpose. It's for the destination. It's to get you there. There's going to be examples and little reminders that's going to come into your life until you get it done. So whether you're doing it now or you do it later, you're always going to be reminded of it till eventually you just yield and you're like, you know what, I just need to get it done. Getting to your purpose and what you truly desire cannot be kept from you. You have to believe that. It cannot be kept from you. It's never a resource thing. And it's okay to start at step 1. And you don't have to go for that big purpose. You could start where you are to get to that big purpose. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about what I shared today. If you also went through this, because I know I can't be the only one that has wondered if I'm far away from my purpose.